creation from nothing to something is compared to a glass blower blowing from within. And the Zohar comments that one who blows from his essence, he blows, I believe is what it says, or from his insides, he blows, meaning from his essence. So we are compared to like the breath of God, so to speak, or the breath of the glass blower, you know. And the analogy makes me think of our existence is in potential within the glass blower, and it actualizes when he blows, and as long as he's blowing. Only as long as he's actively blowing is the breath in actualization. But if the glass blower is not actively blowing, the breath only exists within the glass blower as a potential. And I believe this is how it's supposed to be understood with us and the infinite. The infinite is an existence without any limitations or anything giving it existence. And that's the state, the constant state of now, of existence now. And going back, the same thing, and going forward, the same thing. And that's infinite, the infinite, the creator. And we are being blown into existence in every moment. And if the creator would cease to be blowing, we wouldn't have any existence. And it would be as if we never had existence. You could say we exist as a potential within creator until he's blowing us. It's like the breath. The breath exists as a potential within the glass blower until he's actively blowing. So at some point, God actually started to blow and never stopped. Because if God stopped, we wouldn't exist. We go back to potential, to nothingness. Just a potential within God, within the infinite. This is very important because nothing predates that initial blowing of the glass blower, and beyond that, everything is just, you could say, in the potential of the glass blower, in the mind of the glass blower, like in the intellect of the glass blower as an idea to blow. It's a creative act of blowing. As a glass blower, he's doing a creative act of blowing. That creative act starts in the intellect, in the sphere of the intellect. So, I mean, I don't know what that means with God, because God doesn't have parts, doesn't have an intellect or an ability, or like, the capacity to blow like we think of blowing. It's just an analogy. God doesn't have a form. Form is necessarily, by definition, a restriction and a limit, a dimension, a border, a definition, which doesn't make sense with an infinite, with the infinite. So our existence, you could say, started in actuality with the blowing of the glass blower and with the creation of God creating the world in 6 days and resting on the seventh, and creating Adam on that sixth day, on the Friday. and getting kicked out of the garden and all that, some 5,785 about years ago. It's a separate discussion of time, how that works. But very simply, 5,785 years ago, the infinite, as like the analogy of the glass blower, blew us into existence and hasn't stopped. Before that, I guess you could say there was a potential for us to be and a desire for us to be two separate aspects. But I guess really the desire for us to be, right? If that's a thing, but I don't know what that means with God. Again, I don't think God can have a desire. So what does it mean that He created the world? What changed? Nothing changed. So from our perspective, things changed. From His perspective, nothing changed. But it's just something difficult or impossible to go wrap the head around. The mind, difficult concept for me at least. Okay. And I don't believe like in God anything comes first or second. There's no parts. So even if you could say something exists as a potential within God, I don't think something could exist first or second. I think the first time that there could be a first or a second order of things is after God creates the world in 6 days and rests on the seventh, or in the analogy of the glass blower, blows the breath into existence. Before that, there's no, in my opinion, first or second, because we don't exist. At that point, nothing really exists. There's no north or south. There's no nothing. You don't have 2 points or two things to compare. Once there's the blowing, you could already have order to things, first and second, and top and bottom, north and south, right and left, different things. So where am I going with this? Like this. People get very confused with thinking that there's a human that exists or a soul that exists, specifically maybe the soul of Messiah, and they think that this soul exists before the initial blowing of creation, before the 6 days of creation and the seventh day of rest. They believe that their soul or some part of the Messiah is in existence and a part of God. Somehow they believe that a part of God is the Messiah, a part of existence before the blowing, before the 6 days of creation and the seventh day of rest, before that creative process of the glass blower blowing. They believe before the blowing there exists their Messiah as the infinite. They believe the infinite is the Messiah. It's the same thing. And that's wrong thinking. It is really corrupted thinking. And that's making a form for God, which is not allowed, and that's an idolatry. So, just wanted to clarify that. I hope it's helpful. You're welcome to put some comments and let me know what you think. Thanks.